In an unexpected moment, the young Princess Charlotte left royal watchers speechless. Known for her confidence and wisdom beyond her years, Charlotte steps forward with a chilling truth about who Queen Camilla really is. Deeply aware of the powerful legacy left by her grandmother, Princess Diana, Charlotte is aware of the obvious line between Diana's grace and the shadows that seem to linger around Queen Camilla. What did she say about Queen Camilla that is so disturbing? Join us as we uncover what she revealed, because this could change everything we thought we knew about the Queen. Princess Charlotte's take: who Queen Camilla truly is. Princess Charlotte had always known her life was not quite ordinary. Growing up under the bright, unyielding glare of what royal life meant, she saw more than just celebrations and smiles. From her earliest days, stories of her late grandmother, Princess Diana, shaped how she understood love, family, and what it meant to be truly close to someone. Though Diana had passed before Charlotte's own birth, the vivid memories told by her parents, her uncles, and the close family circle painted a clear picture. Diana would have been a grandmother who would have loved deeply, laughed freely, and made every child feel uniquely cherished. For Charlotte, those stories were a lifeline, a standard of warmth and tenderness she measured everyone by. Yet amid this glowing legacy, Charlotte quickly sensed an obviously different atmosphere surrounding Queen Camilla. Keep watching to discover exactly what she felt and why it changes everything. From a very young age, Charlotte could notice that Camilla, who had stepped into the royal spotlight as queen, carried herself with a different kind of presence, one that felt formal, guarded, and sometimes distant. A real moment that stayed with Charlotte was not during a grand ceremony or a public event, but on something as simple as her own birthday in 2025. The world had watched as Queen Camilla publicly wished Charlotte a happy birthday on the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter. The official post featured a carefully captured photograph taken by Princess Kate that showed Camilla smiling warmly at the camera, paired with a polite caption, wishing Charlotte joy and happiness on her special day. On the surface, it was a thoughtful gesture befitting a queen. But undoubtedly, for Charlotte, who was accustomed to hearing stories of Diana's more intimate and heartfelt celebrations, the message felt incomplete. It was often said that Princess Diana would never have left her granddaughter's birthday to the world of tweets and photos alone. Instead, she would have been there in person, wrapping Charlotte in a warm embrace, baking a cake with her and sharing secret smiles over the wrapping of presents. She would have made the day feel like a shared celebration of love, not just a public announcement. Family gatherings provided further insight into the emotional divide Charlotte felt. At a recent Christmas party hosted by the Middletons, the atmosphere was filled with warmth, laughter, and a sense of belonging. Charlotte watched as her mother, Kate, engaged effortlessly with cousins and siblings, weaving a web of affectionate connection around the children. While Queen Camilla's role seemed more distant and ceremonial, she moved through the room, exchanging pleasantries, but without the spontaneous embraces or teasing moments that Diana had so often been known for. Charlotte's young mind was sharp enough to register this divide, wondering why one part of her family seemed so open and the other so restrained. But Charlotte was not blind to the challenges Camilla faced. She knew that becoming queen was no easy journey, filled with public scrutiny and the heavy expectations of royal tradition. The media's portrayal of Camilla had often been harsh, painting her in an unflattering light, and Charlotte understood this had to shape her behavior in many ways. Still, the emotional gulf was real and left Charlotte longing for a familial closeness that often felt just out of reach. She thought often of Diana's legacy of compassion and openness, a beacon of light in the cold world of royalty, and wondered how different things might have been if her grandmother was still here. From the earliest days of her memory, Princess Charlotte could distinguish the warmth that came naturally from certain family members and the polite and restrained interactions that came from others. It didn't take long for her to notice that Queen Camilla, despite her important role and presence at royal functions, seldom brought with her the comfort of grandmotherly closeness. Unlike her maternal grandparents, Michael and Carol Middleton, who filled every encounter with laughter, hugs, and genuine curiosity about her day, Queen Camilla often felt like a ceremonial figure rather than family. This emotional distance became a defining feature of Charlotte's understanding of her place within the wider royal circle. At official engagements, Camilla's composure was undeniable. She held herself with magnificent composure, offering smiles to crowds, nods to dignitaries, and brief, gentle greetings to William and Kate's children. But Charlotte, ever observant, saw through the formality. Her grandmother, by title Camilla, rarely engaged in the affectionate interactions that came so easily to others in their private world. There were no surprise tickles, no bedtime stories or shared secrets, those moments of genuine closeness that made family feel like home. While Kate would gather her children into her lap during quiet moments and the Middletons brought homemade gifts and inside jokes, Camilla maintained a polite detachment. Even in private, her approach seemed measured, her affection contained. On May 7, 2023, a quiet, almost unnoticeable moment unfolded that would ignite a flurry of speculation among the public and media alike. As the newly crowned King Charles III and Queen Camilla made their way past the front row of the royal family, all eyes turned to witness the expected grace of royal tradition. Princess Charlotte, dressed in a soft white coat dress that mirrored the confidence of her mother, the Princess of Wales, stood beside her brother, Prince George, and joined the royal family in greeting the monarchs. When King Charles approached, Charlotte performed a well-practiced and respectful curtsy, an instinctive gesture of affection and reverence for her grandfather. But as Queen Camilla followed close behind, Charlotte's posture subtly shifted. She stood upright, composed and still. There was no second curtsy, not even the smallest nod. Her eyes remained forward. Some took it as a simple oversight, a young girl momentarily caught in the swirl of a historic evening. But for many watching closely, those who have followed the emotional undercurrents of the royal household, it was a telling pause. However, the camera lingered just long enough to catch the Queen's subtle response. Camilla reached out and gently touched Charlotte on the shoulder, a move some saw as a gracious acknowledgement of the moment, others as a quiet reminder of protocol. That light touch, while polite, only deepened the questions. Was it merely forgetfulness, or had Charlotte, even if unconsciously, drawn a line? Observers were quick to note that the Princess of Wales and her children share an unmistakable warmth and connection with King Charles. Yet interactions with Queen Camilla often appear more reserved, more formal, and more distant. This small moment on a global stage felt like a glimpse behind the curtain of royal unity. In the eyes of some, Charlotte's missed curtsy was not just a child's lapse in etiquette, but perhaps an instinctual reflection of the emotional divide, one that Diana's legacy. Throughout these experiences, Charlotte increasingly found solace in the warmth of her immediate family, especially in her mother, Kate. Kate's kindness and openness offered a refuge from the formality she sometimes felt elsewhere. Kate's gentle touch, her ready smiles, and her way of making each child feel important helped Charlotte understand what family could truly be: a circle of love and support, rather than a stage for roles and titles. It was within these intimate moments, away from cameras and public eyes, that Charlotte's sense of belonging grew strongest. Charlotte's reflections were not simply about comparing Queen Camilla to Diana, but about shaping her own moral compass amid the complexities of her family life. The stories of Diana's humility, courage, and unfailing kindness served as a guiding light. Charlotte dreamed of a future where she, too, could foster relationships built on genuine affection rather than mere duty. She hoped to carry forward her grandmother's legacy, not just in name, but through the way she treated those she loved. In the quiet of her thoughts, Charlotte resolved that despite the challenges she had observed, she would strive to live with openness and warmth. She recognized that royal life was layered with tradition and expectation, but also understood that love, true love, could transcend even the most rigid walls of formality. Let's take a look at Charlotte's grandmother, Princess Diana's legacy. Diana's legacy, the woman who would have been queen. The truth is that Princess Diana's life and legacy continue to resonate deeply with people worldwide, decades after her tragic death. She was a figure who transcended the role of a traditional royal, connecting with millions, not just through her position, but through her genuine warmth and empathy. Diana Frances Spencer entered the royal family amid immense fanfare, hailed as a fresh and modern face for the monarchy. Yet, beneath the public's fascination lay a complex, often painful narrative involving love, betrayal, media intrusion, and personal resilience. Her relationship with King Charles, then Prince of Wales, was marked by highs and devastating lows, overshadowed by the persistent presence of Camilla Parker Bowles, a woman whose involvement with Charles would later become the source of public scandal and private heartbreak. On July 29, 1981, Lady Diana Spencer and Prince Charles married in a ceremony watched by nearly 1 billion people around the world. The event was carefully planned in order to revive interest and goodwill towards the monarchy, which was then seen as somewhat outdated. Diana, who was only 20 years old, was a young woman from a rich but relatively modest background, while Prince Charles was 32 years old, the next heir to the throne. He was well educated and experienced in royal duties, but was already burdened with the weight of expectations. The couple's courtship had been brief, and early on, concerns about their compatibility surfaced. Charles had previously maintained a close relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, a woman from his social circle with whom he had a complicated romantic history. Diana was reportedly warned by friends and family about Camilla's ongoing presence in Charles's life, but the marriage went ahead despite these concerns. From the outset, their relationship was marked by emotional distance. Charles was reserved and often detached, deeply entrenched in the traditions of monarchy and royal protocol, whereas Diana was yearning and eager for a genuine connection. The pressures of royal life, endless public scrutiny, rigid expectations, and a lack of personal freedom weighed heavily on her. Diana's isolation became acute as she struggled to adapt to life in the royal spotlight. The palace was a place where vulnerability was not easily accepted, and she found few allies within the institution. The intense media attention, which swung from admiration to relentless intrusion, worsened her struggles. Reports of her battling bulimia and enduring severe emotional distress began to surface. Charles and Diana had 2 sons, Prince William, born in 1982, and Prince Harry, born in 1984, yet their marriage remained troubled. The couple grew further apart emotionally, and Charles resumed his relationship with Camilla in the late 1980s. The secrecy and duplicity surrounding the affair affected the foundations of their marriage and intensified Diana's feelings of betrayal and loneliness. The relationship between Diana, Charles, and Camilla would come to define not just the breakdown of a marriage, but a national scandal that rocked the monarchy to its core. By the early 1990s, the public was increasingly aware of the triangle, though many details remained speculation. In 1992, a year often called the annus horribilis for the royal family, Charles and Diana formally separated. Both began new lives but remained entangled in a web of personal pain and public scrutiny. The relationship between Diana and Camilla was filled with tension, a triangle of hurt feelings, rivalry, and public fascination. The watershed moment came in 1995 with Diana's televised interview with the BBC's Panorama program. In a bold and unprecedented move for a royal, Diana spoke openly about her marriage, the pain of infidelity, and her feelings of abandonment. She stated there were 3 of us in this marriage, confirming what had long been rumored, that Charles had maintained an affair with Camilla during their marriage. This revelation shocked the public and intensified the media frenzy. Diana was simultaneously condemned and celebrated, a tragic figure bravely exposing the monarchy's private fractures. The interview revealed her complex humanity, a woman scorned but dignified, vulnerable yet unyielding. Camilla, meanwhile, was cast as the antagonist, the other woman whose presence had shattered the royal marriage. Public opinion largely turned against her, fueled by tabloid narratives that painted her as cold and calculating. This image has persisted for years, despite Camilla's attempts to maintain a low profile and avoid direct confrontation with the press. Diana's heartbreak was profound, yet she also showed remarkable resilience. Her ability to navigate this painful period while remaining committed to her charitable causes and her son's well-being earned widespread admiration. What distinguished Diana from other royals was her remarkable capacity for empathy and personal connection. In an era when the monarchy was often criticized for being detached, Diana brought a new kind of accessibility and compassion to the role. She became a pioneer in reshaping royal engagement. Breaking with tradition, Diana openly touched and embraced people affected by diseases previously stigmatized, such as HIV/AIDS. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, she was photographed holding the hands of AIDS patients, challenging widespread fear and misinformation. This act was seen as revolutionary and profoundly humanizing. Her advocacy extended to war zones and humanitarian crises. In 1997, she famously walked through a minefield in Angola to raise awareness about the dangers of landmines, spotlighting an issue that had long been ignored by many governments. These acts of bravery and compassion earned her the affectionate title, the People's Princess. Diana's warmth was not confined to grand gestures. It was evident in everyday moments. She was known to kneel down to talk to children at eye level, to comfort the homeless, and to support mental health initiatives, drawing attention to causes often overlooked by the establishment. Her popularity was extraordinary. She commanded attention not only for her humanitarian work, but also for her openness about her personal struggles. She spoke candidly about her experiences with depression and eating disorders, breaking royal silence on mental health issues. However, her death in a car crash in Paris on August 31, 1997, sent shockwaves across the world. The public outpouring of grief was extraordinary, with millions mourning not just the loss of a princess, but the loss of someone who had touched their lives deeply. Her funeral procession drew crowds estimated in the millions. And the global media coverage underscored her lasting impact. In the aftermath of Diana's death, the monarchy faced intense scrutiny and calls for modernization. Charles and Camilla's relationship remained a contentious topic. For years, Camilla kept a low profile, mindful of the public's lingering hostility. Despite public resistance, Charles and Camilla's relationship endured. In 2005, they married in a civil ceremony, followed by a religious blessing. At the time, it was agreed that Camilla would use the title Duchess of Cornwall rather than Princess of Wales, acknowledging the sensitivity around Diana's legacy. Over time, Camilla worked to soften her public image through charitable engagements, supporting causes such as osteoporosis and literacy, demonstrating a calm but steady commitment to public service. Her appearances alongside Charles became more frequent and accepted. When Queen Elizabeth II celebrated her Platinum Jubilee in 2022, she expressed the wish that Camilla be known as Queen Consort when Charles ascended the throne. This formal endorsement signaled a full acceptance within the royal family and an effort to reconcile past divisions. So, in respect to the Queen's wish, upon her death in September 2022, Charles became king, and Camilla assumed the title Queen Consort. This transition was historic and filled with emotional complexity. For many, it was difficult to reconcile the Queen Consort's role with memories of the painful history that preceded it. Public opinion remains mixed. While Camilla has earned a measure of respect and acceptance, the shadow of her earlier role in the royal saga still lingers, and this complex history is likely why Princess Charlotte can sense the difference between Diana and Camilla. Speaking of Princess Charlotte, let's now take a closer look at the royal she is becoming at just 10 years old. Princess Charlotte's growth. Interestingly, Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana was born in 2015. Just being 10 years old, she is more than just the daughter of Prince William and Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, and the granddaughter of Princess Diana. As she grows up in the unique heritage of British royalty, she begins to define her own identity within the royal family, which is both inspiring and intriguing. From her earliest days, Charlotte has been subject to immense public attention. As a young royal, she carries the expectations of tradition and the relentless gaze of the media, all while navigating the usual challenges of childhood. Yet, amid these pressures, Charlotte is quietly carving out a space to become her own person. She inherits not just titles or a position in the line of succession, but she is growing into a role that demands emotional resilience, compassion, and a thoughtful understanding of the institution she represents. Though Princess Charlotte's full name, Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, is rich with royal and family meaning, the name Charlotte, the feminine form of Charles, honors her grandfather, now King Charles III. While Elizabeth pays tribute to her great-grandmother, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and Diana honors her late grandmother, Princess Diana, the cherished People's Princess, whose legacy of kindness and empathy continues to resonate with many. Together, these three names form more than just a royal tradition. They create a heartfelt link across generations, blending strength, grace, and deep emotional resonance. In this way, Charlotte's name carries the history and spirit of the monarchy itself. At birth, Princess Charlotte became third in line to the British throne, following her father, Prince William, and older brother, Prince George. Notably, she is the first British royal girl to retain her place in the line of succession without being superseded by a younger brother, thanks to the succession to the Crown Act of 2013, which ended male preference primogeniture. From her very first public appearances, Princess Charlotte has captured attention with a combination of confidence, charm, and maturity beyond her years. Though still a child, she consistently displays a remarkable composure usually seen in much older individuals. Often seen walking alongside her parents and siblings at official engagements, she greets crowds with composed waves and polite smiles, small signs of her growing awareness of her public role. Beyond her elegance, Charlotte's spirited personality and keen intelligence have earned her the affectionate nickname, the Boss, among the Cambridge children. A memorable example of one of the most defining moments of Princess Charlotte's young life was her dignified presence at the funeral of her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. At just 7 years old, Charlotte demonstrated an emotional maturity beyond her years. As the royal family processed solemnly through Westminster Abbey, Charlotte walked quietly alongside her mother, Princess Catherine, embodying a serene calm that resonated deeply with onlookers worldwide. During the service, Charlotte bowed her head respectfully as the Queen's coffin passed, following the solemn rituals with careful attention. Her composed demeanor during such a deeply emotional and historic occasion captured the public's admiration. Standing later at St. George's Chapel for the private committal service, her visible sorrow and understanding of the gravity of the moment conveyed a poignant connection to the late monarch's legacy. In a gathering filled with world leaders and centuries of tradition, Charlotte's poise was a touching testament to her upbringing and the values instilled by her parents. Also earlier that year, Princess Charlotte also shone during the Platinum Jubilee weekend, celebrating Queen Elizabeth II's 70-year reign. From the iconic Buckingham Palace balcony, Charlotte stood confidently amid a sea of cameras and thousands of spectators. Unlike many children who might be overwhelmed, she smiled warmly and waved at the crowds with an ease that suggested she was comfortable in the spotlight. Her charm was matched by a protective nature, especially noticeable in the way she looked after her younger brother, Prince Louis. When Louis began to act cheekily during the event, Charlotte gently reminded him to behave, showcasing her emerging leadership qualities within the family dynamic. Observers noted her natural confidence and calm authority, indicating a maturity that many admired in someone so young. In addition to major public ceremonies, Charlotte has displayed an impressive ability to balance childhood with the expectations of royal protocol during various engagements. Whether attending charity events, garden parties, or church services, she often steps forward with a composed presence, exuding both respect for tradition and approachable warmth. At times, Charlotte is seen taking a quiet leadership role among her siblings, calmly guiding her brothers through moments when they might become restless or distracted. This ability to lead gently, with kindness and patience, speaks to a thoughtful character nurtured by her parents. Royal commentators frequently highlight how Charlotte's comportment reflects the values of responsibility, empathy, and poise being fostered in the younger generation of royals. The media has widely praised Princess Charlotte's comportment, noting her unflappable nature under constant public scrutiny. Unlike many children thrust into the limelight, she seems to embrace her role with a natural dignity and authenticity. This has led to speculation that she will be a pivotal figure in shaping the future image of the monarchy, one that balances tradition with a modern, relatable approach. What do you think Princess Charlotte truly feels about Queen Camilla? We'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.